Right. So, next thing we want to do. Ice cream is done. Ice cream is freezing down. So, what we're going to do. Make a start on the pastry. So, I want to get that done. Let me grab another bowl. I'm going to weigh those ingredients out next. So he thinks, no, so I know. Chef, my friend got a job offer as a demi-chef at the Marina Bay Hotel in Singapore. He will try to work in one of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants. The hotel is like a high-end 5-star. Oh, that's fantastic. Congratulations to him. And I hope he does well. And I hope he buckles down, gets his head down, and learns a lot, buddy. That's amazing. Right. So, pastry. Okay. Very simple, very straightforward. You don't need to make a lot of pastry for this. Reason for it, because you stretch it out so thin, if you make loads, you're going to have to be making like a huge one. So this one's going to be pretty big anyway. And you might think, oh, that's not a lot of ingredients, chef, for the pastry. But by the time you stretch it out, by the time you roll it out, it will be about up to here. So it will be pretty big. So I want my weighing scales. Here it is. Alright, so pop this on. So let's change this to grams. Perfect. What we're going to weigh out is the plain flour, right? Or well, actually, we want the bread flour. And the reason why we want strong white flour or bread flour is because we want that glutinous stretch in there. So we can stretch it. If you use plain flour, I mean, you might be able to get away with it. You want that extra little bit of gluten in there so you can stretch it really nicely. So we want bread flour for this. So let's have a look. So I want 145, right? Yeah, certainly does. And I'll take a video while I'm doing this. As long as the packet... Well, I kind of opened the packet very awkwardly, so... But we should be fine with it. Have you heard if Maze is still going to be closing? It's already closed, mate. It closed in January 2019, this year. But they're still running the Maze Grill. But they've closed the Michelin star restaurant, like, in January. It was ages ago. Right, so... Let's have a look. Video. So, cool. So I want 180, right? 156, 145 I wanted, not 186. Ah, the hole in the packet always causes me problems. Shadow, what's up, Matt? How you doing, buddy? So good to see you. 145. There we go. Yeah, this packet was a little awkward to open and it broke, so hence why the extra mess, but it's okay. It's all good. So, 145. Perfect. So let me set this aside. Also want 80 ml of warm water, a tablespoon of oil, lemon juice, and just a pinch of salt. So that's all that goes in there. There's no eggs, there's no butter, there's none of that. This is a very straightforward dough. Nothing too complicated. Do you still have like contact with your kitchen crew from the Maze? I barely speak to anyone, to be honest with you. They're all doing their own thing. The one I used to work with, he won Master Chef this year in the UK. I barely speak to him. So yeah, I mean, I keep in contact with people I got on with, but I don't really speak to them there. So let's have a look. 140. So I want about 80 ml of water. So let's have a look. So I want it warm. I don't want it hot. Just warm. Just warm. Just waiting for this tap to heat up. Just get a little slightly warm. We don't want it like too crazy warm. That's fine. Just fill this up. That'll do. I only want 80 ml. We don't want a lot. So, Matt, how's it going, buddy? Thank you so much for the host. I really appreciate it. If you're lurking away, that's no problem, buddy. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. There we go. Perfect. So we want about a pinch of salt, and we want a teaspoon of oil as well. So there we go. Bit of salt. Don't go too crazy, because we're gonna have salted caramel anyway. So just a little pinch. Hey Matt, so good to see you, man. Thank you so much for the support. Appreciate it as always. Much love, buddy. Right. So let's give this a mix. Oh, bit of oil. So I got some extra virgin, which I wouldn't mind using actually, instead of the canola. So just want a little teaspoon in there. Not gonna go too crazy with it. And we also want a little bit of lemon juice in there as well. So, or you can use vinegar. It's optional. I guess I'm gonna go with lemon juice to be fair. Yeah. So I would say about a teaspoon of lemon juice. Perfect. We've got lemon juice here. So make sure you catch the pips. You're welcome. Much appreciated, amigo. Right, so kind of rolling that up a little bit. Not too much. There we go. That's it. That's all we need. I think more than that. I'm going to put that back in the fridge because I can still squeeze quite a bit out of that. So that will be saved for another day. Just wash my hands. Perfect. So we've got all the ingredients in there. Now we need to mix it. So we're going to do this by hand. Let me take my ring off because I don't want to make an absolute mess with it. Let's pop that there so I know where it is. So you just kind of want to mix it all together. Form it into a nice little dough. If you do need a touch more water, it's not binding together, just add a little bit more, but just be patient with it first. Wait until you get to a point where you're like, okay, it does actually need it. Don't just chuck it straight in. Just mix it up first. See how it pans out. So give it a little squeeze. Give it a little mix. Now this mix looks like it's going to be okay. Doesn't look like it's going to be too dry, depending on how good my measuring was with the water. But it looks like it's going to be fine. So knead it. Using up all those little bits. You want to pick them up with the dough. So picking them up little by little. Beautiful. Right. So what we're going to do, almost clean. Give this a knead. So we've got our dough. So video as well. There we go. So perfect. So we're going to do, we'll probably only do this with one hand because it's so small. If you want to try and get your two hands in there, you can do. But you just want to use the heel of your hand just to knead it. But if you need the two hands, go for it. Magic. Is Aggie been streaming today yet, Matt? And how's he doing? Is he alright? Still haven't stopped by. I need to give him a raid at some point if I can catch him. Right, so let's give this a nice little knead. So you want to knead this to a point where it's almost like nice and smooth. And once it's nice and smooth, then you know you're done. If you keep working at it, you'll end up with kind of a tough pastry, a tough dough. So it's kind of really important to make sure that you just knead it enough so you've got a nice oval, smooth finish. See, it's still kind of like, at the moment, it's like kind of clumpy. It's like, it's not smooth. I mean, it's soft, but it's not pulled together. You need to stretch that gluten, guys. So it's really important so you can start stretching it, because then that will help develop it, and then when we come to stretch it later on, it'll be nice and stretchy, so we can make that nice strudel pastry. So well, the wind's died down, and so has my drop frames. I wonder if there's a loose wire somewhere. I've texted the engineer to come back again. So I had some drop frames when I first started, and it was like blowing like hell outside, and now it's stopped, and so is the drop frames. I'm just like, something's loose outside. I got a feeling. So, right. Other than that, stream seems to be a lot more stable now, when it's not windy at least. So, perfect. So if you want to make, I mean, trust me, you're not going to need to double this. This looks like a really small amount. And you'll be like, chef, you're not going to make much with that. Trust me. You'll be able to stretch it out as far as to here. Maybe further. So you're going to have plenty of room. You don't need to make a lot of this dough. Don't be fooled by the size. Because when we stretch it out, we want it to be almost like translucent, the dough. So you can see through into the table. So it's going to be nice and thin. So as you can see now, it's already starting to form together nicely. It's almost there. It's not quite. Needs a little bit more work in, and it should be good. So just going to knead this a little bit more. Perfect. So just using the heel of your hands is like one of the most important things. Rather than using like your fingers like this, you don't see somebody knead a bread or a dough with your fingers. You knead it with the heel of your hands, grabbing it with your fingers, and then just pushing it forward. So you're sliding with it, so it gets the knead. So you're kind of being a bit rough with it. It's a little bit harder to do when it's very small dough, but if you've got like a good sized dough, so like a 250 to 500 gram bread dough, you can do it with two hands quite easily. Hence why I'm swapping back and forth on my hands. Just make it easier to knead. It's almost like you've done that before. Nah, it's first time. First rodeo, babe. First rodeo, babe. Joking. Yeah, of course. I've made strudel a lot of times. I've made it, I don't know, countless of times. Countless of times. We've done this on stream a few times as well. When it comes to desserts and pastries, I feel that is definitely one of my strong points. So I really do enjoy making like breads or pastries or desserts, anything like that. I do like doing like the breakfast dishes or lunch or dinner kind of dishes, or you know, anything like that. But I feel like my strong point is definitely my desserts. Hey Apollo, welcome back, buddy. Cheeky 18 months. Crikey.
CJR, cheeky CJR Kappa.
A cheeky CGR and a cheeky Kappa. I love it. How you doing, buddy? How's things? So good to see you. Thank you so much for your dedication and support for the 18 months. I really appreciate it. What have you been up to? Can we get some love and hype in chat, guys? I know there's not many of us here this morning. But if we can get some love and hype in chat, exclamation mark hype, exclamation mark love, or any kind of like emotes, I'd appreciate it. So that dough is done. I'm going to wash my hands. Also, Apollo, do you like red as usual, my friend? Dude, thank you so much for such a long dedication of 18 months. That's a serious long time, man. You've been in this community a very long time. And thank you so much for your long dedication and support, man. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Thank you, amigo. Whew. Oh, I'm sweating buckets now. Hey, Pyramid Heads. Welcome back, buddy. How's things? I was just about to head out, but yes, no problem, buddy. I appreciate the quick jump in, but have a great day, dude, and I'll pop you on as red as usual. Thank you so much again. I appreciate it. Start my culinary management program at college in a couple of weeks. I'm pretty excited. That's fantastic, buddy. If you need any help with anything, you know, whether it's food or whether it's managerial skills or anything like that, just give me a PM. I'm more than happy to help if you need it. Help is there. Right, video. I end up making too many videos today, but that's good. So, there we go. There's the dough. Whoop. Beautiful. Right. Another video done. So, that dough is perfect. We're going to let that rest for a little bit. But it's looking very nice and soft. Nice and smooth. Look at that. Very delightful. Cheeky finish. I like it. Alright, let me get some cling film just to cover it. Just have a little bit of a rest. Thank you so much. It's really appreciated. No, you're most welcome, buddy. I like helping people. And if I can, fantastic. If I can't, so be it. I can't. I'll always offer my help. If I can help somebody, I will. So as I said, I've done a lot of managerial stuff in the catering industry. I've also done like front of house work before, but that's not really my strong point. But anything like that, I feel like I could help out with if you need it. So you're most welcome, my friend. Okay, let's have a look. Is it banana time? I think it's banana and caramel time. So we're going to cook this down, get the caramel sauce to a right consistency. I'm going to go grab some bananas. I'm not going to slice them up first. What I'm going to do first is make the caramel. Once the caramel is pretty much like almost to the kind of consistency, slice my bananas up, throw them into the pan. I don't really want to cook these bananas down too much because bananas, when you cook them, they get very mushy very quickly. So you don't want to spend too much time in there. I want most of the cooking done when it's inside the pastry. So we're going to make the caramel. So I'm going to switch over to my other camera in a second, and we're going to get a pan out, and we're going to start doing that beautiful caramel. So, oops! Pressing too many buttons at once. Oopsie doodles. Right. Thank you for the love earlier on as well. I appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. Okay. Let's have a look. So, let's have this pan here. This is good. Magic. So let's pop that on here. And put the flour away now, because we don't need that. Pop that in there. What we're going to do heat this up onto a medium heat. We're going to pop some sugar in there. Also going to get some butter, and we're also going to use a little bit of... Have I got some molasses here? I don't think I really want too much molasses in there because I don't really want it to be dark. So what we're going to do, grab the granulated sugar. Grab that. I also want butter and cream. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Butter and cream then. Which we have got here. Oh, I have got a full... Oh no, that's cream cheese. We don't want to use that. That's a good point. Have I got enough butter for the thingy later on? So, shortbread. Oh, actually, I think I do. So I got that butter there. I've got 2 packs in there. How much butter do I need for that shortbread? 150. I've got enough. Perfect. That's good. Right, so grab a couple of tablespoons. Now, I don't want this to be like super runny, so when I put this inside the dough, it's just going to be like everywhere. I want it a nice thick caramel, so it's going to kind of help and bind together. So when we put it into the strudel, it's not going to run everywhere, it's not going to leak everywhere, so I don't want it to be like too saucy. I'm just going to really thicken it up really nicely, and then just coat the bananas. I don't want it to be like really heavy in there. So we're also going to add some raisins as well once it's all cooked down, and a touch of cinnamon. Tablespoon. I've already washed them up this morning. Been using tablespoons like a maniac. Right. So what we're going to do, put a few tablespoons of sugar in here. I just want to kind of like cover the bottom very lightly. I don't go too crazy with this. Nice. So, don't want it to be like so thick, going too crazy. But there we go. So I did say 2 tablespoons. I've got a little bit more than that, more like 5 to 6, just to cover, depending on the size of your pan. I feel like that's going to be enough. And what we're going to do, we're just going to let that kind of dissolve, turn it into like almost like a glucose, and then start turning it into a caramel. Then we're going to start adding some cream. Then we're going to add like a little knob of butter as well near the end to finish with a little bit of a gloss. So let me get my chopping board as well. So I'm going to go get the bananas. So I'm going to start chopping them now because I don't want them to go brown. But let me grab my my chopping board. Oh, let me give a little wash on the unit first because I've been kneading dough and all sorts of things. So it's always best practice to make sure we clean down properly, right? And also when you're spraying down as well, also like make sure you just give this like a couple of minutes, or not a couple of minutes, more like 20 seconds or so, just to activate, killing off any bacteria on there. Don't just like spray and then straight away wipe. Just give it like 10-20 seconds. Kill off any kind of bacteria that's on the work surface. And then just give it a wipe up. Right. Sugar, do I need that anymore? Not for the time being. We can pop that away. Perfect. Let's give this a wipe now. Awesome. Nice, clean and tidy. That's what you want to be doing, guys, as well. Every time you've been chopping something, like say for an onion, you're chopping some meat, or always make sure you wash up, clean down before you start a next job. Really important, guys. So, grab my mats, grab my chopping board. What we're going to do is grab our bananas. I'm going to start slicing them up very shortly, not just yet. So I don't want to start them going brown. Once we've started caramelizing the caramel, we can start slicing these up. Now, depending on how thick you want these, you can cut them up really thin, or you can cut them up nice and chunky. I'm going to do mine slightly chunky, but not too crazy. Probably about yay thick. So it's not going to be too thin, not too thick. So, right. So that caramel, the sugar, sorry, is starting to dissolve slightly. It's not much happening yet. I'll switch it over as soon as it starts like turn into liquid and then starts going turn into like a caramel. So I'm going to use pretty much, I feel like, all of these bananas. So I'm going to get them ready. So they're there. I'm going to peel them yet. Don't want them going brown. So once it's coated in the sauce, they should be absolutely fine. So I don't need to worry about that later on. So let's just switch over to the stove. Let's have a look at this caramel. So it's not really doing much at the moment. Just even it out a little bit. Put it back on. I don't want to go too much of a high heat. Maybe a number 6 out of 10. Just so we can just start like dissolving. You can probably start to see, I don't know how bright it is, but you can start to see like a little gap here. It's starting to dissolve. So just give it a shake now and again. And it should start like dissolving down into like a nice little caramel. So give it another shake. There we go. Perfect. Just to kind of even it out. And it'll start dissolving very nicely. Takes a little bit of time. So, also want my cream out as well. So we can get that ready. And I do want a whisk for this, right? Pretty much. Where's my cream? Oh, it's here. Perfect. So I'm not going too crazy with the cream.